website says, "We don't deliberately violate anybody's privacy or rights. However, it is entirely possible that some cam owners did not intend for their cams to be public, but simply forgot to secure them. Some are security cams in companies or semi-public places. Others are public tourist attractions that happily share their video streams with the world." This was a webcam image of inside someone's house. It was titled "Living Room. Yes, she knows she's being watched." Another similar site called Unsecured has over 73,000 unsecured security surveillance cameras from all over the world. The About page says, "Welcome to Instacam Project, the world's biggest directory of online surveillance security cameras. Select a country to watch live street, traffic, parking, office, road, beach, earth, online webcams. Now you can search live webcams from around the world." While I was scrolling through, I saw this footage from a cafe in France. The camera seems to zoom in and out on this one customer. Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate was an American new religious movement, often described as a cult. The main belief of the group was that followers could transform themselves into immortal, extraterrestrial beings by rejecting their human nature. Then they would ascend to heaven, referred to as the next level. However, when one of the two leaders passed away to cancer, it challenged the group's belief, because they originally thought they would ascend to heaven while still alive, on board a UFO. Their views changed, believing instead the body was merely a container for the soul, and that their consciousness would be transferred to a new, next-level body upon death. In 1997, the San Diego County Sheriff's Department discovered the bodies of the 39 active members of the group in a house they were renting. Several months before, they had purchased alien abduction insurance, which covered abduction, impregnation, or death by alien. They had participated in a mass suicide, coinciding with the approach of Comet Hale-Bopp. The leader videotaped himself claiming there was a spaceship trailing the comet, and their deaths would take their souls to the next level and allow them to board the spacecraft. Among the deceased was Thomas Nichols, brother of the actress Nichelle Nichols, who was known for her role as Uhura in the original Star Trek. Shortly before the suicides, the group's website was updated with the message, "Hale-Bopp brings closure to Heaven's Gate. Our 22 years of classroom here on planet Earth is finally coming to conclusion. Graduation from the human evolutionary level. We are happily prepared to leave this world." This remains on their website, which is still up and running. They have a page here titled "Our Position Against Suicide" that states, "The true meaning of suicide is to turn against the next level when it is being offered." The website seems to be maintained by the last surviving member, who has a YouTube channel where he continues to spread the teachings from the movement, among other things. Next is a website that was called planecrashinfo.com. It documented the last words and conversations heard in the cockpit tape recordings before each plane crashed. There is a summary of what happened, and some even have website also catalogued images of the crashes, and there is a section on particularly unusual accidents. Just a few of these include a vulture that crashed through the cockpit window and killed the co-pilot. On a United Airline flight, an electrical fault caused the cargo door to open suddenly. 9 passengers were sucked out of the plane and were lost at sea. A passenger brought a crocodile on board, hidden in a sports bag. The crocodile escaped, causing a panic among passengers, who all rushed to one end of the plane. This led to an imbalance in the aircraft, which led to loss of control and a crash. One aircraft crashed after the captain allowed his child to manipulate the controls of the plane. His 11-year-old daughter and 16-year-old son were taking turns in the pilot seat. The boy inadvertently pressed the wrong button. After several stalls and attempts to pull the plane back up, it went into a spiral descent. In the end, the aircraft struck the ground, killing all 75 on board. An investigation into an aircraft that crashed in Greece revealed that the 121 passengers and crew had been unconscious for several hours before crashing. The cabin pressure had been left in manual instead of auto by the maintenance workers. All died in the crash. Sittingandsmiling.com is a website of a man who just sits and smiles at the camera for 4 hours. He also has a YouTube channel where he does walking and talking. On episode number 5, someone breaks into his house, but he continues to sit and smile at the camera. He says in the description, "This episode of Sitting and Smiling features a very special guest. About 2.5 hours into the webcast, I hear someone come into the house, which is odd because my only housemate is at work, and we aren't expecting anyone. I realize I didn't check to see if the doors were locked before starting the webcast. I hear the person stealthily move around the house, and then I hear them stealthily climbing the stairs towards my room. My door opens and I hear an unfamiliar male voice say, 'Hello.' Then, after presumably seeing me sitting and smiling in front of a camera lit from beneath by a fluorescent bulb, he promptly descends the stairs and exits the house. As it turns out, the doors were locked and he had broken one open. We found nothing missing, as there is not really anything of value in the house, other than the laptop I was using to record." Simulationarguments.com. This website offers a collection of studies, papers, and scientific research that argue we may be living in some sort of computer simulation. Nick Bostrom, a professor at Oxford University, wrote, "There is a significant probability that you are living in a computer simulation. If the simulation hypothesis is true, you exist in a virtual reality simulated in a computer built by some advanced civilization. Your brain, too, is merely a part of that simulation. If you are such a simulated mind, there might not be a direct observational way for you to tell. The virtual reality that you would be living in would look and feel perfectly real. But all that this shows so far is that you could never be completely sure that you are not living in a simulation. If we are in a simulation, is it possible that we could know that for certain? If the simulators don't want us to find out, we probably never will. But if they chose to reveal themselves, they could certainly frequently do so. Maybe a window informing you of the fact would pop up in front of you, or maybe they would upload you into their world. Another event that would let us conclude with a very high degree of confidence that we are in a simulation is if we ever reach the point where we are about to switch on our own simulations. Sombo.com. This site has a single webpage that just says Sombo.com. There is a man's voice which repeats, "Welcome to Sombo.com. You can do anything at Sombo.com. Anything is possible at Sombo.com. The unattainable is unknown at Sombo.com." However, there is nothing else on this website. Deathdate.info. Deathdate.info predicts when you will die. It says, "Please fill out this form. Don't be afraid to share your data. It's necessary only for your death date calculations. The only thing you should be concerned about is the time you have left." So, of course, I filled out my information and it calculated that I have until 2066, and it includes a timer to count down the seconds. Also given is the cause of death, in my case, freeze, fall, electricity. The FAQ states these are clues to find the way you'll die. However, there are many ways of interpretation, so we can't give you any direct answers. You are on your own. Nightmare.mit. The Nightmare Machine website was made by MIT professors and researchers. It features images generated by artificial intelligence. It says, images on this website are generated by deep learning algorithms and may not be suitable for all users, contain scary content. On the Haunted Faces section, it asks you to vote on what faces you find scary in order to help the algorithm learn. Then at the end it shows you a special wall of faces. There is a Haunted Places section which AI has been used to create these filters. Now a couple of Wikipedia articles. Bunny Man. The Bunny Man is an urban legend originating from two incidents in Fairfax County, Virginia in 1970. The legend has many variations. Most involve a man wearing a rabbit costume who attacks people with an axe or hatchet. Different versions vary in the Bunny Man's name, motives, weapons, victims, description of the bunny costume, and sometimes his possible death. In some accounts, victims' bodies are mutilated, and in others, the Bunny Man's ghost is said to come out of his place of death each year on Halloween. Most of the stories occur around Colchester Overpass, a railway overpass on Colchester Road, near Clifton, Virginia, sometimes referred to as the Bunny Man Bridge. The first incident was reported the evening of October 19, 1970, by U.S. Air Force Cadet Robert Bennett and his fiancée, who were visiting relatives on Guinea Road. Around midnight, while returning from a football game, they parked their car in a field on Guinea Road to visit an uncle who lived across the street. As they sat in the front seat with the motor running, they noticed something moving outside the rear window. Moments later, the front passenger window was smashed, and there was a figure dressed in white standing near the broken window. Bennett turned the car around while a man screamed at them about trespassing. He said, "You're on private property, and I have your tag number. As they drove down the road, the couple discovered a hatchet on the car floor. When the police requested a description of the man, Robert insisted he was wearing a white suit with long bunny ears. However, his fiancée said he did not have bunny ears on his head, but was wearing a white capirot of some sort. They both remembered seeing his face clearly, but in the darkness they could not determine his race. The second sighting occurred 10 days later, when a construction security guard, Paul Phillips, approached a man standing on the porch of an unfinished home on Guinea Road. Phillips said the man was wearing a grey, black and white bunny costume and was about 20 years old, 5 feet 8, and weighed about 175 pounds. The man began chopping at a porch post with a long-handled axe. He said, "You are trespassing. If you come any closer, I'll chop off your head." The Fairfax County Police opened investigations into both incidents, but both were closed due to lack of evidence. The following weeks, more than 50 people contacted the police, claiming to have seen the bunny man. Several newspapers, including the Washington Post, reported that the bunny man had eaten a man's runaway cat. The Devil's Footprints. The Devil's Footprints was a phenomenon that occurred during February 1855 in Devon, England. After a heavy snowfall, trails of hoof-like marks appeared overnight in the snow, covering a total distance of 40 to 100 miles. The footprints were named this because some religious leaders suggested that they were tracks of Satan and made comparisons to a cloven hoof. These footprints appeared over 3 to 4 days, most of which measured about 4 inches long, 3 inches across, between 8 to 16 inches apart, and mostly in single file. They were reported from more than 30 locations across Devon and a couple in Dorset. Some theories have tried to explain the footprints as those of badgers, hopping mice, or even a kangaroo. The Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the forest of Pine Barrens in South Jersey. The creature is often described as a flying biped with hooves, but there are many variations. The common description is that of a bipedal kangaroo creature with a horse or goat head, leathery bat wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked tail. It has been reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. According to popular folklore, the Jersey Devil originated with a Pine Barrens resident named Jane Leeds. She was also known as Mother Leeds. The legend states that Mother Leeds had 12 children, and after finding she was pregnant for the 13th time, she cursed the child in frustration, crying that it would be the devil. In 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night while her friends gathered around her. Although born as a normal child, the 13th child changed to a creature with hooves, a goat head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines. In some versions of the tale, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch, and the child's father was the devil himself. Some variations also state that there was a subsequent attempt by local clergymen to exorcise the creature. There have been many claims of sightings and occurrences involving the Jersey Devil, including Joseph Bonaparte, the elder brother of Napoleon involves transferring the whole head to a new body, as opposed to the brain only. Theoretically, a person with advanced organ failure could be given a new and functional body while keeping their own personality, memories, and consciousness through such a procedure. Neurosurgeon Robert J. White grafted the head of a monkey onto the headless body of another monkey. EEG readings showed the brain was later functioning normally. When organs are transplanted, aggressive rejection by the host's immune system can occur, but the theory is that the human brain is an unrejectable organ. However, in the above case, immunorejection caused the monkey to die after 9 days. One of the biggest barriers to the procedure is the inability of nerve tissue to heal properly. Alternatively, a brain-computer interface can be used to connect the subject to their own body. A study using a monkey shows it is possible to directly use commands from the brain, bypass the spinal cord, and enable hand function. For the procedure to be practical, the age of the donated body must be close to that of the recipient brain. An adult cannot fit into a skull that has not reached its full growth, which occurs at age 9 to 12 years old. Gang stalking. Gang stalking, or group stalking, is where an individual believes they are being followed, stalked, and harassed by a large number of people. The term is associated with a targeted individual virtual community formed by like-minded individuals who claim their lives are disrupted from being stalked by organized groups who intend to cause them harm. A 2016 article in the New York Times estimated that more than 10,000 people were participating in online communities organized around the conviction that its members are victims of a conspiracy to harass thousands of everyday Americans with mind control weapons and armies of so-called gang stalkers. Hundreds of these communities exist online. Some psychologists say websites that amplify reports of mind control and group stalking are an extreme community that may encourage delusional thinking. One report found that some who claim to be targeted individuals have acted out in violence. Those who believe they are victims report that they believe the motivation for the gang stalking is to disrupt every part of their lives. The activities involved are described as including electronic harassment, the use of psychotronic weapons, directed energy weapons, cyberstalking, hypnotic suggestion transmitted through remotely accessed electronic devices, and other alleged mind control techniques. Among the community of targeted individuals, gang stalking is described as a shared experience where the gang stalkers all coordinate to harass individuals, and the individuals share their victim experiences with each other. They then found this website called targetedjustice.com, which has a number of diagrams and explanations on this subject. It says a targeted individual is someone that has been selected by the deep state, usually FBI, DHS, or CIA, to unwillingly participate in an experimental CIA torture program. This program was developed under the CIA's MK Ultra project and is designed to break down the individual and neutralize the person. Using psychological, physical, and emotional stress, the ultimate goal of this program is to control the entire population through intimidation, fear, and threats. Political activists, labor union leaders, scientists, and fusion centers run the global gang stalking program, which is designed to harass, intimidate, and break down the target. The FBI outsources much of the local harassment to community groups such as InfraGard, Citizen Corp, and Neighborhood Watch. Targeted individuals are placed on the terrorist watch list and tracked as non-investigative subjects so that police and ambulances can be instructed not to assist with their emergency calls. One method of attack is called V2K. The website explains V2K, or voice to skull, is a technology that can put voices in your head that no one else can hear. There are numerous patents on this technology. The CIA uses it to harass and attack targeted individuals worldwide. Most of the time, the signal is sent using a microwave beam from a cell tower. The cell tower companies and the cell phone companies are complicit in these attacks. The Geneva Convention refers to this as psychological torture, and it is considered a war crime. Some targeted individuals will try to protect themselves by wearing lead hats, helmets, body shields, and eye shields to deflect microwave auditory attacks and other weapons. UK-USA Agreement. This is an agreement between the UK and USA to cooperate and share signal intelligence, meaning the communication between people as well as internet surveillance. The agreement also includes Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. Together, their alliance was named the Five Eyes. It was formed in the 1940s, originally top secret, and was not disclosed to the public until 2005. In 2013, the Five Eyes were accused of spying on each other's citizens and then sharing the collected information with each other, bypassing the laws which prevent them from spying on its own citizens. For example, Britain's intelligence agency, GCHQ, can spy on anyone except for British nationals, and the same is true for the NSA with Americans. So instead, they spy on each other and exchange information. They also collectively monitor virtually all countries in the world.